Welcome, everybody. This is our go at oil pastels. The picture I'm doing is this ancient gentleman. I don't think he's all that old, actually, despite the beard. He was the man who entertained us with crocodiles when we were in Darwin 3 or 4 years ago. And I just found it a very interesting face, so I thought it would work rather well with oil pastels. So we'll just see how we get on. I have these pastels here. These are Sennelier, and they are specifically meant to be for portraits. But I've muddled them up with the other ones, which I've got, which are landscape. But some of these have got in here, and Vicky Versi by now. So we'll just, I got them all with me to give it a try. Right. So what to begin with? Well, I think, better talk about the substrate. This is the back of a sketching pad, which gives you a good firm surface to work on. And it's a sort of vaguely mid-tone color. It certainly isn't white. I find it difficult working in oil pastels on white because you never really cover the whole thing and a bit of the white shows through. While that seems to be fine in watercolor, somehow it's not fine with oil pastels. So there we are. Right, so I'm going to start with a dark, and not the color I've been drawing in. And of course, having said that, I can't find a color I want to work with. What's that? Oh, that's nice. I'll try that one. Right. Now, unlike pastels, where I take the paper off, I usually try to leave as much of the paper on as I can with oil pastels because you get very sticky otherwise. Unfortunately, oh, there we are. So it gives you something to hold because it's pretty strong stuff. Right. Now, this actually isn't dark enough. It needs to be darker than that. And a bit more greeny blue. I don't think that's going to help much. You can work on top and they sort of quietly meld. I think you better have a lid to put the bits in. That's a black. Right, so I've put a bit of black and a bit of blue in there. I want to get the dark to be dark. And if I go over it again with the pastel I chose, it sort of melds together nicely. Right, we'll leave that there for the time being. Do this bit here because it does tend to help to define him. So there's that there, and it's on this side as well, isn't it? I think I've gone a bit far on that one. That comes down there a bit. So I'll scratch that off with a credit card, just to remind myself. And that comes down at an angle. This is an extinct, well, it's in a credit card, one of those store card things that you used to have. One of the problems about leaving the paper on is you can't see what color you've got. And as usual, I haven't got all the color I want. So I'm just making it up as I go along out of the colors that I've got. They do mix if you push at them hard enough. What's that? Oh, that's nice. Right, it's better. Now this is here, shows there, and then we come across here a bit. And again, it's just a question of looking at the shapes of the things, like we were doing with the bottles, you know, just observation. That's a sort of bluey color, which is rather nice. He's got a blue shirt, so bringing blue in is going to work nicely. I might add a bit of brown. That's brown. As we go over here, because this is a bit of his face. So I'll just put in a bit of brown as we go across here. And this again is face. Partly face, partly hair. There's a bit of his hair there in the shadow. So that's too bright. Just feeling around for a color that will work is what I'm doing. It's a much paler color. Right, so we'll just make that. No, we won't make it that color. We'll make it. It's dark. There it is. We'll make that a light blue. Bluey grey. He's got sunglasses on, hasn't he? Which I haven't put in yet. He's got sunglasses on his hat. And they're a lovely bright blue, aren't they? They're gorgeous. Right, okay. So he's got. It doesn't matter. If you get it wrong, you just put it right. It's a wonderful medium. And these are just lost in the mists of time over here. That's quite a strong line. That is straight. Of course, that's the other side of the specs, isn't it? But you can't see them, so. And we want a really bright blue here. Sorry. Head. Where's the white? Well, pick up the white. There's a white to push that. No, that hasn't worked. So try a bit more blue. Oh, scratch it off. That didn't work. Scratch it off. Now you see why you need a firm substrate. If you're going to start scratching it off, you're going to then you've got his hat catching the light over here and there. Rather nice. And here There's a sort of crease down there. This comes up a lot higher. There. You can sort of sculpt with the pastels. Yeah, you can thin a line down by attacking it from the bottom. Right. Okay, the thing to do is to just continue down, isn't it? Right. He's not that pink. It's baby pink. Right, we'll try these colours. It's quite a nice light colour for his ear. There. The side of his face. The side of his nose. Quite a hooky nose, got quite a nice nose, hasn't he? I'm just putting that colour in vaguely where it is. So go in with that. Sort of reddy brown. That is quite dark in there. Ooh, that's nice, isn't it? Oof. He's appearing, is he? Right, now. Round about there, there's a shadow. His eyebrow starts about there. It comes down. It's not dark enough. Sure, I've got a darker brown than that. Brown. Right. So it starts quite suddenly and then it goes. Like that. This one's up here. Disappearing into the shadow. I find a dark red somewhere. Was that it? Yes, that was it. But what happens is, as you put things in, you tend to grow the head. You know, he's going to have a head 10 feet wide. So you've got to take it off. Put some of the dark back in. It's not well defined here, so I don't want to change between his head and his hat to be too clearly defined. His eyebrow sort of runs into his hat. There. This is where it becomes difficult. You crave a fine pencil. He's got something of a face there. He's not got a proper face, but he's got something of a face there. His upper lip is hidden by his tash, which goes in a sort of curve, but not there. It's a sort of creamy colour on top, with a definite shape there. And somewhere I had the white, yes. White gets very dirty because sometimes you've got to scrub it to get it clean. Here we are. It's better. See, it's got colour in it. There's that creamy colour. This one over this side is shadows. So that's a bit too adventurous, actually. Well, it looks a bit hair raising, but if you go back in with the lighter colour, you get this sort of mix of the two. The one informs the other. That needs to be. Spend your life looking for the colour you haven't got. I think he must smoke. Hmm? I want this side of him is quite dark. Pretty dark here, isn't it? On this side, got quite a light blue on his shoulder here. He's actually catching the light, so it will be, you need to work into his beard, but I'm just getting the basic colours down at the moment. I like them. Trying to follow the shapes of the folds in his shirt. And then go back in with this one. That's a black. Blue. Okay. I'll go back in with the blue on top of that. It gives me the dark that I want. What it does is sort of mutes the blue and makes it meld into the other color that I've got. Same here. So you end up with a sort of gray blue. I find when I'm using pastels, I work with black quite a lot. Probably because I can't get a really dark brown out of something like black. How are we doing for time, Rachel? All right, that's okay. I would like to get a background in of some kind. You understand he's not finished, not by long chalk. It's just giving you an idea how to start to tackle it. Hmm? Of course, this is actually blue. So got to get some blue in over here, haven't we? Right, now then, what am I going to do for the background? Give myself a bit of a problem there. Well, okay, let's just try something and see what happens. No, that's his hair. Was that his haircut? Over here, his hair goes behind. No, that won't do. Not with that hair color. He's actually a sort of muted green, hasn't he? Do I have a muted green? That's not a muted green. Oh. I've used this one a bit, haven't I? So I don't know if this is going to do what I want, but it doesn't matter. Right. If it doesn't do what I want, I can mix it with something else, especially if I don't put it on too much. I'm just putting it on to see how it works with what I'm trying to do. You could if you want to. You don't have to work. Now, I've come across a problem here, haven't I? Because this is the same color as that. Not to worry. that works reasonably all right, but he is actually darker on this side. So and a straw color somewhere. Oh, there it is. That's a sort of straw color. So we'll introduce some straw color here. I'm not trying to imitate that. I'm just trying to put a background on that will enhance what he is. I think that needs to be a bit darker. I must be trying effort there. It's a great medium for experimenting because you're not really committed to anything when you're working. It's quite good to have dark there because I have a streak of light down his shirt here. Which is sort of going up into the beard a little bit. A bit too white. So I'll go over it with the blue. That streak of light against the dark here, that line is too definite, but that can be dealt with. That pushes him forward. I don't want that to be too definite. See how it melds and blends. Does it on your fingers too? He's more or less there. He isn't right. You've got what you've got. You've got what you've got as far as the colours are concerned. That is, I've got his eye in the wrong place. He's not. Still, you do these things. You get them wrong. So what do? I just take it out. Hmm? But he's looking up, and I want to get that feeling if I can. I think I brought this too low. There. I think that's higher. Observation. I think that is higher. There. So I need to lift the light here. What is it Hazel says? Form before detail. Right. So that is quite light up there. This, and that is more there. I don't know if I can get his eye where I want it. We'll try. What's wrong? Yeah. The eyebrow should be higher. Right, so that colour needs to go into there a bit more. we've got more room on his head, which gives us his eyebrow there. Right now, it won't go on, so you just take some off. Credit cards are great, very useful. So I need to get that there. I think. Is that right? And that one is further up there. That one, I've got it. Oops. Right. This is right. This is very right here. A bit better. Oh, let's see. I can. Yeah. Massive thing. It is. That won't do either. Hmm? Right, we might file this under too difficult at this stage. Right, yes, definitely we're going to file this under too difficult at this stage. He is eyeless. He's anything but actually. Yeah. Rachel was kind enough to have a very shadowy brim on her hat. You know, the one I did of Rachel. Right, now then, that comes in. I'm getting rid of that. I think I better put it back. Because his ear sticks out a little bit. Oh. Right. Now, some of that dark can go into this now, because his hair is. You can use it gently. You don't have to bring it on like it was. You've got to fiddle with it till you get the accuracy that you want. Seems to have a very thin head. Right. I think there's vague hair there. Yeah. And a very untidy haircut. Well, he didn't have a haircut. I think we've got the beginnings anyway. There.